Good evening and welcome to another segment of Woman to Woman. I'm your host, Wanda Carter, and tonight you need to grab your pen and call a friend because this is a segment you don't want to miss. I'm going to introduce you to our guests in just a moment, but first let me tell you how you can see us on YouTube, www.youtube.com/Woman2Woman TV show. And also on ECTV, www.ectv.com, and then click on Streaming Live and watch the featured show. Now, let me take just a moment to introduce you to our panel. Starting to my right, we have Mr. John Alexander.
Hello, everyone. My name is John Alexander. I'm a book writer. My first book will probably be out in the near fall called The Cry Within the Man. I want you to go to the store and look for it. And I'm also a photographer, so if you need photography, reach me through Woman2Woman.
Woo! There you go. And now we have our wonderful guest, Miss Tabtha Carson
Floyd. I'm a children's advocacy. I work here in Chicago trying to save the lives of many children on the south side, west side, north, and east of Chicago.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then we have Miss Margo Richmond.
I'm an insurance agent and the broker for the state of Illinois. I'm also a community activist and a missionary, and I'm here as the peacemaker on this panel.
Ooh, and we need a peacemaker.
Amen.
Because tonight we're going to be talking about, you know, just, I'm still standing.
Amen.
I don't know about you all, but a lot has happened to me throughout the course of my life. And just the fact that it's happened and I'm still here to tell you about it, that means I'm still standing.
That's right. Amen.
So, I mean, tonight we have Tabtha, and she's going to tell us about her special experience. And then from there, we can each share our stories. Tabtha, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I was born here in the city of Chicago and the Robert Taylor homes, given up for adoption at the age of 7 months old.
Wow.
And I've been through some tragedies in my life as a child. Through the process of Department of Children and Family Services, I've had some bad experiences, and which I am trying to do right now is to rechannel the department, and I had a epiphany. Okay. And God spoke to me and said, you know, I want you to turn the initials around from DCFS to SFCD.
Ooh, tell us what that means.
Yeah, exactly. I said, God, you spoke to Moses with a burning bush. But I don't see a bush in this room. So he says, I'm speaking to your heart, which is on fire, like that bush. So the initials SFCD stands for Set Free Christ Disciples. In that order, there's restitution for you and many other families, children that have been victimized by the system.
So you're going to help us understand how we can get through the system
Exactly.
and still be standing.
Yes. Amen.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, well, I'm not sure how far back you remember.
Oh, I remember all the way back to 5 years old.
Wow.
And that was my first tragedy, my first experience through abuse while being a foster child. I've had a lot of bad experiences, but how that I got to this point, prayer, a lot of prayer, a lot of hands-on, hands touching, pastors and people connecting with me, but it wasn't easy.
I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm sure
you know,
it wasn't
as a child, you know, you tend to lock up. You hear the words of you're not going to make it, you're not going to mount up to anything.
And that's bad when parents or guardians tell you negative things, you know, like you'll never be anything, you know, you're stupid, or
I've heard that.
You should never tell a child anything other than something to encourage them.
But you know what happened when you tell a child that, you know, people don't know that they say the power is in the tongue. And so when you say things to a child, as a child, that person don't remember it as much until they get older, and then it keeps replaying back in your head all over again.
It's like a tape recorder.
So sometimes you got to look at people saying, you're not going to be this and you're not going to be that. You ain't no good. You just like your doggone daddy.
Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so at that point, when do a person heal themselves? And I think they heal themselves by, like what we were saying tonight, still standing, but knowing why you're still standing.
Exactly.
Because if you don't know why you're still standing, then you just fall down and you just lay down and then you be down.
I think that we are all the child inside, you know, as adults. that we grow into these full-size bodies, and the law says after you're 18, you're an adult, but most of us don't mature until we get well into our 30s, and some of us until our 40s, and some not at all. No, some, I know some 60-year-old children.
Come on.
I don't know
Come
none
on
of
now.
them
I know some 60-year-old children.
Okay. But you know, in the growth process, God designed us to weather some storms. And in that whole process, even as a child, there are some children that are far more mature than some adults.
Yes.
But you
Because I
that
think that
question
I think that because God don't make mistakes.
You're right.
Right.
And he plants the seeds the way he wants them to grow in his garden, because
Right.
he knows that there's going to have to be some children that's going to have to bring some adults through.
Yes.
Right.
So in that whole process of all of this, we look forward to having a great time. Still standing means a lot of different things. And like she said, I come through DCFS. There are some great things about DCFS, but there's a lot of things that needs to be fixed in DCFS.
Like,
So,
what would you think need to be fixed inside of DCFS?
I was one of those that they told that you weren't going to be anything. What I mean by that is that I kept hearing that over and over to the point it manifested me, and I actually believed that.
And when you believe it, then you act it out. It
Oh, yeah.
manifests
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
But did
Exactly.
did it manifest at that point where you started not believing that you weren't going to be anything but other
Yeah.
than what they said they're going to believe?
I was
But now
acting
the
out.
question is, when did it change?
Oh, you know, when you mention in your 20s and 30s, that's when it started changing.
Yes.
I mean, I knew as a child that I was mature in many ways, but I couldn't express it as much because I was a child. But what I don't like, being in the ward of the state at that particular time, I saw a lot of restraining. I saw a lot of hand-on-hand negative type of restraint instead of sitting down with the child and talking with that.
So is that restraining towards the child, not towards the parent? Because nowadays DCFS is kind of the opposite. They more towards the child and not the parent. You know, a child can say, my dad hit me, and then next thing you know, DCFS is coming out of the house. So how do you discipline when you got that kind of stuff going on in the background of a person's life?
But she was inside of the system.
In the system.
She wasn't at home.
Oh, she was at
She
home.
was in the system as a ward of DCFS.
Oh,
And
okay.
I've witnessed to the point where I've seen restrained, a young lady being restrained, I would say about 4 guys on top of 1 girl, breaking her arm. It was recently, not recently, but in the paper, a 10-year-old died because of that in Maryville. So changes have to come about. That's when I did my interview with Sarah Shelty pertaining to my own life, my story. I wanted to start doing a little research on Tabitha, and I requested for my records. And when you mentioned you start remembering things
from
and
the
I had
past.
backflashes, and I wanted to know what were these backflashes about. So when I did, I sent the paperwork in, got my records back, and majority of everything was blacking out. They didn't want me to know.
So how did you find out?
Yeah,
Well,
how did you?
The truth, the word, God told me. He showed me. I mean, it was. If your mind already knows, the spirit, you know, the spirit in itself was already telling me what happened. It was, I guess, I wanted confirmation, but God already gave me the confirmation. And the thing is, as far as the remedy, is salvation.
Yes.
And that's what I was seeking after I had the confirmation.
See,
So.
and I believe that, you know, a lot of people believe they have to look at the Bible, read the Bible, and live their lives according to the Bible. I believe the Bible is written in my heart.
Ain't there you?
I believe that my spirit is the God spirit talking to me, guiding me, leading me, instructing me. And so my Bible is in my heart.
But not to throw that off, I understand what you're saying, but there were moments where, you know, I would have to grab the Bible, grab the word. I started grabbing the word, the Bible, at 12 years old.
Okay.
So, I mean, I didn't just start from the book of Genesis. I would always hold that Bible in my hand. I would say, okay, God, show me, guide me to the direction, the page you want me to read today.
And he did that.
And he did exactly that.
Okay.
So,
Because she prayed first.
exactly.
But you know what? It begins even somewhere, because when you said I grabbed it, somebody, somewhere, or even placed it,
Planted it? Or talked
planted
about
it, someone came in and introduced it at some form. You may not be able to go back and remember when. I sat in churches for many, many years because my grandfather was a minister, but the Bible was always
It's
present
there.
somewhere. And so it did not go in and sit in here until I opened it up and read it. you know, and then it began to manifest because I had to deal with a lot of children working in the system as well. Children that were abused, children that was going through, and the system was trying to protect them the best that they knew how, but then it caused a lot of problems. So, you know, we have to really get out here and really, really fight. So I'm glad to see you. For the millions and millions of children that's out here, Tabitha, continue to speak for them.
Oh, yeah.
Continue to fight for them.
I can relate to these children out here.
Sure.
And sometimes a lot of people don't understand, but it's not for them to understand. It's God's plan. That's the whole ticket. So when you mention about the Bible, granted, I was adopted at the age of 5, and my adopted parents, my father was a deacon, my mother was a senior choir director, Union Hill Missionary Baptist Church. I was in the choir. So the Bible was entered into me at an early age of 5. But when I started getting those backflashes at 12, I just kind of pushed the Bible away.
What made you think that it took so long for those flashbacks all of a sudden just start hitting you in the head?
Actually, I was having dreams, and those dreams kept coming back and forth. It was like memories that I was suppressing. I was suppressing something, and I was too afraid to tell my adopted mother what the dreams were about.
When did you tell her?
At the age of 15.
Oh, so you waited 3 more years.
Yeah. It was until I felt a little more comfortable, because what I've experienced was not normal.
So did you go through like foster homes and foster homes and foster homes, or did you just go to one foster home?
I was in various foster homes from the age of 7 months old to 5 years old.
And then
until I was adopted.
Okay.
So between that time period at 4 years old, I had something bad happen to me. It was a rape at 4 years old. And I suppressed that. Once I was adopted, this is the thing about the system. They never told my adopted parents.
That you were raped?
Never. Never told them. You know, it's just like when you don't call a child a car, a vehicle, but it's just like when you're buying a vehicle, you want to know what's wrong with it. You want to know if the alternator's bad, the battery's bad, just like a child. You want to know if you're getting a baby from the age of 5 years old, you've got 5 years that you need to catch up with this child. No one told them that.
Yeah. And a lot of times, and I've just recently worked in the system a couple of years ago, a lot of times when the children come in, they have to dig for information.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of information that they have to dig. Sometimes they go into the homes and they come out with void information. Sometimes the children are never taken to hospitals. They're never taken to doctor's offices. They may have taken them for a couple of times. But even DCFS has to do a lot of investigation to pull up the past and history.
What does closed adoptions mean? I'm sorry.
I'm not into, I don't have the information on closed adoptions.
Well, it was a closed adoption, meaning that they could not give her any information
about you,
about me, and back in 1974. So a lot of things have changed. So
yeah,
that's interesting. That is very interesting. So I understand you got some conditions that you have to deal with now physically.
Yeah.
And how are you dealing with that?
Triumphantly so. I try not to say that I have it. You know, I don't want to claim it, but I have cancer, so I am fighting a battle, and the battle is not mine, it's the Lord's.
Well, I have diabetes, and I'm fighting the battle too.
Amen. Amen.
Let's don't get on the cancer trip.
Okay.
Because, you know, cancer is one of those things that we have to really, really, really kind of pay attention to ourselves. I think we forget how to heal. And I recently was helping a homeless guy. This is this year, a couple of weeks ago, and I was helping a homeless guy. And by helping this homeless guy, I end up at the doctor, which was his doctor. And I began to talk to his doctor, to make a long story short. I began to talk to his doctor, and I was telling him I was having these rush pains go across the chest. Wasn't a heart attack, wasn't anything else.
Yeah.
So he told me to lift my shirt up and examine my chest, and decided and told me that I was in stage 1.
Oh, man.
And he said, "John, did you have a tumor?" I said, "Yeah, but I just had my cancer removed from my throat." He said, "That operation a year ago is probably what saved your life this year."
Wow.
So in about a couple of weeks, I'll be going through the mammogram. And really seriously, men,
talk to the brother.
Men, if you can see this and hear this, men get breast cancer. Men should have I'm having a mammogram. I'm letting you know that now. I'm having a mammogram, a bilateral mammogram. It's not fun. But if you love your family, you love your children, and you love the people that you're around, then you got to do the earthly work so God can do the spiritual work. Because they surprised that I'm still even talking right now. So men, go to the doctors, get that colon checked, get that prostate checked, get everything in your body checked, because eventually when it happens, and it reached the stage that it reached a man who was a billionaire and died.
Yes.
Theirs don't turn it back, and he had all the money in the world. Well, those of us who don't have money,
Yes.
get to the doctor. Do not be ashamed. Cancer is a black man's and a man's killer. Please go to the doctor. I don't want to cry on the camera, but I'm getting real serious about this because this hurts.
Yes.
It hurts real bad.
Yes.
When you have to go through operations and operations and operations and operations, you're trying to get past all this BS.
Yes.
Men, go to the doctor. Do this for your wives, your family, and your kids.
Yes.
Yes.
Do not do it. Because when it's too late, it's too late.
Yes.
And you can't say, I shoulda, woulda.
Yeah.
Go.
You can't say go.
Go.
And
Do it.
John, I'm glad that you brought that up because I have 2 brothers. And I'm just glad that you're bold and you're coming forth and you're actually saying that because I have 2 brothers. They was diagnosed with prostate cancer 6 months apart. So they have each other's strength. One is in the military and the other one has his own private insurance, but the service that they give to the military men, the service is far greater.
Than anything you can
And the
get.
knowledge is there for the veterans that my brother with private insurance. So their resources, they're bouncing back off of each other with resources and other friends of mine who's our prostate cancer survivors. So I'm telling you, men, you know, don't be ashamed, get up and go. Go check on yourself because we love you, and I'm just grateful for my brothers, and I'm grateful for you, John. So stay strong.
Yes,
Yeah,
stay strong.
it's really hard
Stay
sometimes.
strong.
And
you're
you're
still
standing.
Standing.
My
Yeah.
brother,
I'm trying.
my brother passed away in 2009. First, my husband died in 2008, November.
And that was hard.
Yeah.
And then 3 months later, my brother, 2 years younger than me, he passed away. He had liver cancer. And I never knew he had liver cancer. That was when we went to Washington
Right.
for Barack, President Barack being nominated. I came back and they said he was in the hospital, and I went to see him. And you know how you walking down the hospital corridor looking for the room, and I'm looking for the room, and I see this little man down the hall, and I look, I say, oh, that looked like my brother, but he had a small pea head and a big old body. I said, that can't be my brother.
Yeah, it happens.
And by the time I got there, he was like, sis. He looked like somebody I didn't even know.
And you know,
He swole up from around the middle.
right, that's
like,
a whole nother organ right there.
Yes.
That's a whole nother
Yes.
organ that puts weight on your knees and on your ankles, on your joints, on your heart. It put weights on your pancreas.
Yes.
It put weights on your knees. All that is
and he
pain.
was only here for 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
He passed away in 2 weeks.
That's why, you know, that's why whatever I do day in and day out, I always try to bring people to the now.
Come on.
And bringing you to the now make you realize that every moment is so precious till you have to begin to enjoy yourself. Find something out of every day to laugh about,
Smile
to
about.
share,
Yes.
because there's always someone going through something greater than what you're going
That's
through.
right.
So keep looking up, keep getting up, keep standing, and keep fighting.
Yeah.
Because we
guess what?
still
Standing.
standing.
You know,
We still standing.
And even as an older person, you know, one of my friends had to bury her son.
Yes.
He was 8 months old. He was 8 years old. Yeah, you know, life is, God decides when life is going to end. We
Yes.
don't.
That's right.
So I would take the time out to say, just cherish the moment.
Yes.
Moment.
You know, we are his people. We can do it.
I have to say
We are the people
this,
that can do it.
that you have a great spirit.
Oh.
But when I first came in here, I'm almost like myself because of the fact I have cancer too, and seeing how funny you are.
Oh.
You know,
Y'all hear
just
that?
make
I'm funny.
songs and you just, I mean, one would never
Sing it,
know.
yes.
Because you can see the spirit in you.
Well, when
can see
you
the God
fight
in
this
you.
stuff, when you
Amen.
fight this stuff, you know, this is, you know, the others are here for my testimony. So when you start telling, you start healing. You suppress,
That's right.
you die.
That's right. Talk about it, John.
And so that's the
we
reason
listening.
So that's the reason why we're still standing, and that's the reason why
Amen.
I don't think, because I hate to use that, I think and I thought. My thing is, I know the reason why I'm still standing is because
Yes.
the work that I have to do.
Yes.
You know, I can remember one time I was in my church, and to make another long story short, I fell completely out. And at that moment at the church, I was pronounced dead.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But I only heard 2 people, the prophet and my wife at the time.
Yes.
And God said, I'm not through with you yet.
Hallelujah.
Got in the ambulance and was sitting up there doing like this here. Next thing I went right back up to the pulpit and had more fun. So it was like, You dead, but you're alive. And so people gotta understand you can die and come back to life.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, you can hear everything, you can feel everything, you can see everything, but who you need to hear and who you don't need to hear, you will not hear.
Yes.
So I just say this for me, laughter is fun.
Yes.
It keeps you going.
Yes.
It makes you lose weight. It makes you be in a better relationship. It makes you enjoy your friends. It makes the water and the food taste good.
There you go.
Make a kiss. Well, does it make a kiss special too?
It makes all kisses special. Because when you're standing when you're looking on a panel, and you stand up here with three beautiful women, the one I have to consider my big sister, and that I love to death, my other sister who I like to tease, who I messed up her hair on the picture, and my new friend, and you know, my friends in the booth. You'd be surprised how important it is for me to see the people that I see when I come to the studio all the time. If one of the people here was missing, and I know they want their name mentioned, so I'm not going to mention it. If he was missing, I'll ask where he's at. If the other one missing, I'm asking where he's at. Because they are a part of the whole thing.
It is. And we're family. You heard it here on Woman to Woman. You stay tuned in. Get your pen and call your friend, because you don't want to miss this. And John.
Yes, ma'am.
We love you.
Yeah.
We love
know
you,
y'all
brother.
do.
We love you. So you better keep on coming here, because you know what? If you go, we ought to come get your butt.
Nah, well, you better come and join me.
Tabitha, tell us a little more about, let's see, I don't know. You just have such an interesting story. What, if you had the choice, the opportunity to tell the audience something that you would recommend that they do, that they concentrate on, so that if they're in pain, if they have some kind of illness, some kind of sickness, what would you tell them to motivate them so that they'll just hang on in there, because they're still standing?
Come on, Tabitha, give us
I love
some.
to tell them, thank you.
Thank you.
Laughter.
Yes.
Comedy.
Yes.
That's what got me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The talents that I have. When we were sitting here joking, the voices.
Let us hear
Give
one
a little
of
bit
them
about
voices.
that. Come on, John.
One of them voices.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. And I'm ready to go, y'all. I'm ready here, ready to go. And I want her to know that it's just my story right here, y'all.
Well, John, darling, actually, I can go a little bit more longer than you, because I used to say Dirty Spice, you know, Eddie Murphy's wife. Yeah, so,
Well,
I don't have the money no more, so anyway.
I won't compete with that.
No, that's cool. Comedy, laughter, and put it together, you know, because God actually, by finding and reading the Word of God, to me, that's what He told me. You know, because laughter to me is everything.
Yes, it is.
I don't like frowning. I don't like crying.
It takes too much work to frown.
Yeah,
It does.
It really does.
Do you know it takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile?
And find that certain person. There's someone out there. I'm sure that everyone has a special friend.
Yep.
Someone that you can talk to.
And you can trust.
And in your real quiet moments, you have someone that you can kind of lean on.
There you go.
You do.
Yes, you do.
And when you have that person, you know, we have God, but you have a special person.
You know what I do all the time?
What?
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm a mother of 4, a grandmother.
Yes.
Ooh, how many grandchildren?
2. I send them out the room. I tell them, go somewhere else. Mama have, you know, as adults, we need a time out too.
Absolutely.
But you know what I do for mine?
What?
I find a way to sing to somebody.
Uh-oh.
And I do Never Would Have Made It, you know, do a little
see a
Kim.
little bit of that.
Come on,
you know,
come on, show it.
Yeah, not a thing. because if you can find the words to a special person and you can change the words to fit that person, that's what you do.
There you go.
You know, you said you never would have made it without you. And I'm saying that never would have made it without you. People look for the guy, but I'll also look for the person.
Yes.
And I would have made it this far without yous.
Thank you.
And all those out there, and those who see me on TV. I would have made it without you either.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. You know, life is, I see life like a big book, like this book. And when I wake up in the morning, you know, I was able to turn the page. And now I got a new page, a new opportunity, a new chance to try it again. Live it like God want me to live it, you know, and if I wake up feeling bad, I just say, you know what? This is the experience I'm supposed to have today, so I'm gonna make the best out of it. I got a headache, but guess what?
And you know what?
It's finna go away.
And you know what I like about this? Me and your hair gray.
Woo!
You know, I
They
thought
call
about
that wisdom,
changing
you know.
I thought about changing it, but you know what made me not want to change it? When I can come into a restaurant like McDonald's, see a bunch of kids and they're hollering and screaming, and I can get them to be quiet with a couple of words. And they'll say, yes, sir, no, sir.
Yes.
What's the word you use?
Well, you know, there's a few words that I use that's not really nice, but what I really tell them is I evaluate the situation. I watch them do their little handshakes and everything else. So I look and see who's the leader, and that's the one I approach first. And I say, man, look, you one of me. I know you don't know me, but I hate to see you go to jail, and they're going to call the police. Won't y'all chill? Okay. And they say, yes, sir.
And like I see the young men, I see them walking down the street with their pants half down, and I just tap them. Excuse me, what you pulling pants up? I don't like that. That doesn't look nice. And they go, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
And see, a lot of
have you ever gotten a couple that they kind of like get smart with you and say, well, I can't pull them up. I don't want to pull them up.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Thank God, because I don't know how I would respond. But I'm sure he would lead me in the way that I should go.
But I think when they act like that, a lot of times they're looking for someone or some person or some mother or some father figure to give them that push. And they're looking for us for that. They're looking for us for that.
But let me tell you my approach. Because I don't like to bother them like that. My approach to them is, if their pants are down, I walk up to them and just ask them, can I say something to them? And I look them dead in the eyes and I tell them, if it's a man, I tell him that he's an attractive man. And I said to him, brother, I said, listen, I'm walking behind you. You're so fine, I just can't understand. Why are they so short? And before you know it, he done poured it up. Then I've had young men that I've talked to. I've had ladies, because there's a lot of ladies walking around
now
with their pants down. And I talk to the sisters. I talk to the sisters.
What
I
can you say to a sister?
always give a compliment first.
Right.
Always.
There you go.
And I engage them in a conversation so that they will feel free enough and respectful enough so that we can talk. Let us just share. And before you know it, they didn't ease them on up, but I always issue.
Because they're not looking, most of the time you judge the book by the cover because you haven't read the story within.
Yeah.
So until you open the book and read the story,
you don't know.
And all our approaches are different type of approaches that work.
And it works.
I'm glad you mentioned about the book when you said far as what is it that you do. As of right now, I'm writing a book. It's coming out of the dark
What's
into
your book?
the light.
Coming out of the dark into the light.
And then you got the cry within the man. Oh, God.
You're going to tell us more about it. We're going to have to have you back. We're at our close of our show. Okay. So I want everybody to just take 30 seconds and tell that camera, tell our audience what you would like them to remember about today, about this show, about the experience of I'm Still Standing. Yes. What about it, John?
Well, I'm just saying, when you say that I'm still standing, there was a song that says, we fall down but down the clock, but we get up.
Yeah.
And the getting up part is the good part.
Okay.
It's not the falling. Because if you fall and you just stay there, then you need to be there.
Yeah.
But if I'm your brother and you got brothers or sisters around you, they should pick you up.
Okay.
If they don't pick you up, you should kind of question that. I got friends that I've been with for 50 years, and they're still my best friends.
Okay.
Argument for us to fight. You know why? Because we still standing within each other.
Okay. Okay. Margo, let's let Tabitha have the last word.
Yeah, let Tabitha go.
Pray together, stay together. I believe #1, prayer is the key.
Yes.
And find that special person, like I said, and start writing things down. Laughter is the key. So, but I'm really grateful that you guys had me here.
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to coming back.
It was a must.
It was really nice meeting you as well.
Close us out, Margo.
Wanda,
Yes.
it's a wonderful evening. This has been a miracle of an evening.
Yes.
So God bless everyone, and I just pray that we all just continue to forgive each other.
All right. You heard it here on Woman2Woman. Thank you for watching.
And a guy.
And we have a guy too. So be blessed and watch us on youtube.com/Woman2Woman TV show.